Hey everybody, welcome to Hilltop Machine Works. Well, hey guys, it's Tom here. We are back in the shop for another project. So supposedly fall is here, but it is like 90 degrees today. We've been having a heat wave coming through. I am filming this the beginning of the second week in October. So yeah, we should be having you know, at the high low 80s and then 60s at night, but it hadn't been that way. It's been more like 70 low and 90s high, so it's been a little bit warm. But anyways, would like to get on this project here so I can use my new fire pit outside that I showed you guys when I did the deck rebuild and the new patio I had made out there. So let me show you what we got going on here, I guess. I'm not an artsy guy, so my part of the brain that is artsy-fartsy isn't that good, so I suck at drawing. So I would try to draw you a concept of what we're going to do, but it would be looking horrible, so I'm going to have to try to explain this. But anyways, we need to fabricate basically a cover for the fire pit to try to keep any flying embers down and not escaping from the pit. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to use this new Harbor Freight tube roller. I've never used a tube roller, but obviously it's not rocket science, ain't nothing to it. You know, we're going to run a piece of tube through here. We're going to slowly screw this down, and that die is going to push it, and we're going to roll it back and forth, and we're going to make the diameter of the piece of tube that we need. So that's pretty easy. But unfortunately, before we can do that, because they don't call it horrible freight for nothing, is this unit did not come with the drive shaft that connects the hand wheel to the unit. It was missing. There was a hole in the box about this big. Didn't realize it until I got home that that hole was where the rod was in, and it escaped the box. So I contacted the store, and the manager wasn't that helpful. He went out, he checked, he couldn't find one, and he said, of course, this was the only one they had in stock, and that basically I was SOL unless I wanted to drive another 30 miles down the road to another Harbor Freight store in another town. And I figured I'm not going to go on a wild goose chase. So we are going to make one. I've got a piece of 20 mil drill rod, because that's the size of the ID for these bearings. So we'll have to do a project before we can start a project. You know what I'm talking about, don't you there, Jim? So that is that. And the cover is going to be, I've got fine screen right here. We're going to use that, and let me move you over, and I picked up some expanded. That's what we're going to use for the cover on the top. And then also there's some, I believe it's, let's see, 16 gauge that we're going to use to wrap around the side. So let me move you outside and show you what I'm talking about. So this is the fire pit that I had them build when they did the nice patio. So basically I'm probably going to come, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches up in a circle, and then obviously the screen is going to come on the top of it. And also I picked up some rebar, so we need to basically make a rack to hold the wood that will be on fire. So a little bit of a two-folder, plus we have to make the drive shaft for the tube roller. So let's go ahead and get started. I think probably what I'm going to do is knock out the rebar. That will be fairly easy. Since it's getting late, we can at least get on that, and then we'll pick up the rest of the project tomorrow. Let's see how this is going to work. got all my pieces cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 30-degree bends on both sides. These will be the ones that'll be holding the logs, and then this will be basically the base rack. I'm going to do the same, but this will be going towards the bottom. These will be like the feet. So I figure we'll use the new Swag Off-Road press. See how we do. We can probably do a bunch at the same time, but let me get a feel for this thing. Just get an idea, just in case. I don't want to mess up a whole bunch in case this doesn't work, but I don't see why it shouldn't. Get her in here. Alright, get bent it so it's somewhat straight. Just doing a by ball. Got a magnetic angle finder here. They call it the angle cube. This is eye gauging. So we'll just hopefully you guys can watch it. We'll run her up, what, 15 degrees? 15 to 15 will be 30 if I remembered my public high school math. And let's see here, we're going to have to put her directly under it. Alright, like I said, learning process for me too. Here you go. Let's try this again. It would probably work better if I had two of them in there, but let's do the first one just to make sure I'm doing the right thing. I'm just going to bend it, not chop it. Alright, let's give her a whirl. Hopefully you can see that from there. Hope it's not too sharp of a bend. Excuse my head there. This ain't gonna want to cut it. I think it'll still be alright. That's 12, 13, 14, 7. Yeah. 15.3, I'll take it. See what she looks like. Cool, I think that'll hold some logs. What do you think, guys? Alright, so let's put a bunch in there. What do you think? Let's see if we can get 3 in there. Do this halfway right. Straight. All right, going for the gold. Well, I'm off a little bit, so of course. You guys saw it first. Living, learning here. Alrighty, let me get her adjusted. Looks like 3 don't want to work just right unless I have her spaced perfectly. So hang tight. I don't want to bore you guys. Everything is cut and bent up. Did a pretty good job. So hopefully you guys can see that pretty good. So now, time to weld this thing up. You can get an idea what's going on here. Obviously these are turned the wrong side, and I ended up making these 60 degrees to get this up a little bit higher. I think this is going to be the game plan though. So what do you say we lay some weld down here? Let me get the welder going. Hang with me. And let's see, we need a ground clamp. Oh, that would be nice. And let's see, that's a little hot, but it'll work. And let's see if I got one more that would help out to make it stay straight up or not. Without making everything fall apart. It's like a Jenga puzzle right now. Till I get stuff welded up and it gets a little more solid. Excuse me, guys. Let me get stuff squared. Even though it is a rack to hold wood in the fireplace, I still would like to do a nice job. I could have bought one, but what fun would that be, right? Let's make one instead. Alright, let's hopefully this doesn't move. Ouch, just had one just pop right down on my ankle there. That should hold it. Alright. Okay, let me go along, get all these tacked up, and then I'll bring you back and then we'll burn them in. What do you say? Just finished welding it up. Nothing fancy about it. I just got in the groove and didn't feel like stopping and turning the camera on. It's just to show you some simple welding. But man, it's still hot. I have to turn the fans on. Sorry if you're picking up any turbulence on the mic. But there she is, just a simple rack to hold the firewood in the fire pit. So I think she came up pretty good, and I think this is probably a good place to wrap it up for the night, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll get on the ember retaining cover, so to speak, I guess. So anyways, appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Okay guys, it's raining outside, so I guess it's a good time to work on this tube roller. So this is the Harbor Freight tube roller. It's one of their better items. As you can see, she is pretty beefy. There's not much to it. And you get a hand wheel, which is, so far, looks good. And you get a slew of dies. You get a 1-inch tubing die, you get a 1.5 inch, and a 2-inch tubing die. So the issue is, so when I picked this up, it comes in 2 boxes. This was in one box, and the hand wheel was in the other box. Well, in this box, there was supposed to be a drive axle, which basically goes in here to your drive roller, and then your hand wheel. Let me slide it through to kind of give you the visual effect. And then your hand wheel will go on here, and that's what you use to turn. Well, this piece came out of the box and it's nowhere to be found. Called the manager, he went and looked, and he couldn't find the missing piece, so I don't know if it was lost prior to it getting shipped to the store. Fortunately, this was the only one they had in the store, and the store in another town about 30 miles away, they were showing like 6 in stock, but I just didn't feel like driving all across town or to another town to try to chase down just a piece of, basically all this is a piece of bar stock. And since everything in this is metric, this is 20 mil, and lucky I've got some 20 mil drill rod, So what we're going to do, we're just going to go ahead and make one and be done with it. So I figure that's easier than driving around chasing this thing down and trying to get it and spending my day and spending my gas money. Since the manager wasn't any help, I asked him about shipping one of these to this store from the other store, and you know, he acted like I had 4 eyes, so whatever. Looks pretty simple. So all we need to do really, I guess, to match this stuff is we'll just have to drill a hole. I'll have to get a pin and a washer, and it'll hold it on that side, and figure out about how far I want. I was kind of looking at the pictures, and you have a little bit of a spacing, about 6 inches or so probably off. And what they do is they've got 2 screws here, so I'm assuming that this would have 2 flats. I'd rather have a key in it, but I think for this application the flats will be fine. We're only bending 1 inch, and it is only like 0.65 thick, so really not going to have that much torque to drive it. I guess if I was doing some bit larger diameter stuff and thicker wall, I would probably want the key, because I would worry that the hand wheel would slip just using those 2 little flats. So let's get this thing over to the mill and mill some flats and drill a hole. Well, a little change of plans. I'm glad I double checked. The diameter of the hole on the hand wheel is 19.16 millimeters, so it's just under 20 mil, and this rod won't fit in it. Go figure. What an odd number. So that equates to 754 thousandths. This is 780 thou. So we got to take down 26 thou, divide that by 2, 13. So it just buzzes down in one pass. But I'm gonna go ahead and face it and break the edge a little bit. So we'll take you along for the ride. Zero here. Flex is there. Going 13. And we'll take it all in one shot. Running 576 RPMs. Cutting the carbide, as you can see. Doing a pretty good job on this drill rod. Wow, you hear the rain out there? It's coming down good. Let's see if we hit our mark. Not too bad. And a tad bit big. Yep. 2 thou, great. Ain't gonna fit. A little bit of a taper. 757. 756. Alrighty, let me skim it. I'll bring you guys back when I'm done. Alrighty, got the rod finished, turned. Nothing fancy. Just chamfered the edges, turned it around, just chamfered that edge. And ended up turning it down to about 753, a thou under, and I'm kind of glad I did, because so you can see it's still a good fit, really nice, so that works. So now the plan of attack is going to be, we've got to drill a hole so I can have the pin go in, and then the hand wheel's got the two screws to cinch down on this rod, and they're 90 degrees apart, so that makes it real easy. So just got my collet block and my 5C 20 mil collet. So this is going to go in, and then we can just mill this flat, and then we can just turn her and mill the flat again. So if you guys don't have these 5C collet blocks, you don't know what you're missing, because it really makes things a lot easier. I've got a hex one also, so you can do 3 sides or 6 sides. So you know, pick you up a set. Even the import ones, you know, they'll save you. They're a lifesaver. Save you a lot of time. So that is the order of operation. Let's get set up over at the mill. Trying to get you in close here. Got everything set up in the mill. So let's touch off and see what we can do. Find my zero. Using a 1-inch 2 carbide cutter here. Back her on out. And let me do my on the table. We'll go try, let's see, 50 thou. Come on. Trying to get the backlash out of here. Alright, let's see if it's going to work. If it's going to be too much or not. You guys, hold on. See how this is. I'm handheld. Hand feeding it right now. And we're coming up on an inch. And we'll go a little bit farther. About one. 100 here. There you go. move you back over here. And here you go, that's what she looks like. Not too bad. Let me flip her over 90 degrees and I'll do the other side off camera. I'll bring you back once I'm done. Okay, going handheld, but just finished it up. Hopefully you can see the flats good. So they came out nice. I just test fitted it, so we're good to go. Now I'm just going to pop a hole here in the end, and this will be ready to go in the tube roller. Alrighty, just drilled that hole and put the pin in. Easy breezy, nothing to it. So let's get this thing assembled. Got a clamp on her so she doesn't tip over on us. And there's screws in this round die. And let's see here if I can do this by hand. We can get up here easy. Get this thing together. As you can hear, it's nice and quiet. It finally stopped raining. It's almost 7 o'clock. It's been raining for like 4 hours. Too bad I couldn't have got the yard seeded and aerated and fertilized before all this rain. That'd have been nice. Yeah, no. Alrighty, let's see here. So you kind of pick it, and once you got it in here, I can use my new wrench that we did the 3/8 conversion on. I showed you guys in mail call 19, I think it was. And it helps not to drop it. So that way we can get the feel of this thing on these little set screws here. Don't want to over tighten them, 'cause it'd be a bummer if I strip these things out. Alright, good deal. Hopefully these are going to line up good. And let's see, let's get the old hand wheel on here, see what she looks like. Up this way and that way. Let me see here, which way do I want to put it on? That way would be fine. And excuse my head, let me look behind the camera here, there you go. We'll get the hand wheel on, and this is how the package should have come. All right, so I don't know if the light's good enough. You can see that. So we are ready to roll some tubing. But I think I'm going to call this a day, and Mrs. Hilltop be home in a little bit, cook some dinner. So thanks for following along, guys, and we'll pick this up hopefully tomorrow if the weather's a little bit better, so we can get outside and pull some measurements and do a little bit of test fitting. Okay, guys, finally got a chance to get out here. We just had Hurricane Michael come through, and it's finally stopped raining. Got about, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches of rain. Not much wind, so it wasn't too bad. So now I can get back out here and get on this fire pit build. And if you remember, we're making this rack to hold firewood, and I was a little bit in a rush because it was getting dark, and I had to start dinner soon for Mrs. Hilltop. So I was banging this out, and as you can see, Houston, we have a problem. So this is what happens when you get rushed. My measurements were good, but I forgot to take into effect the angles. So this is still salvageable. We'll just have to change these 60-degree angles to 90 degrees, so they'll be pointing straight down, so it'll fit in the diameter here. And these on the end are going to have to be trimmed about halfway so she'll fit. And I'm also thinking about maybe, I don't know if you can see a little bit of flex there, put a foot under each one of these supports. That way when you're throwing in a bunch of heavy firewood, don't have to worry about it bending. So that's the plan there. And let's see here, to make the round pieces that we're going to need. This diameter is 33.5. So if we just rounded it to, let's do 35, because that'll be enough just to clear this thing nicely. So let's see. So 30. Come on, you cheap Chinese calculator, really? Thank you. 35 times 3.1459 equals, if you can see, you guys see that, so we got 110.1 inches, and if we, divided by 12, so a little over 9 feet. So I'm curious if, so probably about a 10-foot long stick to work with. As we start bending it, I am not sure if the if I'm going to actually be able to clear the ceiling, you know what I mean? So let's go inside real quick. Alright, I just have you looking in the general direction of the shop, but as we try to bend this thing into a round circle, I'm curious if I'm going to be able to go all the way around. And if not, I think I'm going to hit the ceiling. So what we may have to do is build a stand for this rolling tube bender. I'm not sure yet. It'd be nice, we're not finished with the Bronco. We haven't been able to work on the Bronco because of the rain. But if the Bronco is out of the way, I could just roll this table out and we could do it on this table. But I do have an old flywheel and a nice big old drum brake I've been saving. So we may just go ahead and buzz that out. So this project is going to turn into another project. So this may end up being a two-part video. So let me contemplate on that, and I'll bring you guys back, but I'll go ahead and tweak the rack for the fire pit and go ahead and get that knocked out. So that's one less thing we've got to worry about. Got you guys over here at the do-all because a lot of times I've heard requests that you guys like to see the old 1943 bandsaw doing its thing. So we're over here, and a little tip and trick is when you have round stock, have you a little vise like this, clamp it, turn it upside down, so that way when we cut, we're not fighting it and it's not wanting to rotate on us and, you know, mess our world up. So we'll cut this real quick. This is one of the two legs for the middle support on the log rack. So here we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. I think you're in frame pretty good. There is a couple teeth that are not in good shape or missing on it, so every now and then you may hear the blade go clink, clink. So I'm just trying to get my money's worth out of her, especially cutting on this kind of junk. I've got a couple new blades over there if I've got a really a really nice piece I need to cut out right. So anyways, easy breezy, that's how you do it. So pick up a little palm grin or a Stanley, and this is actually a Yankee, but it'll do. So there we go, easy breezy. I'm gonna get this welded on and get the other one measured and cut.